From classrooms to the field, truth and laughter both revealed. Tune in for that special feel. Nampa School's always real. Welcome to Nampa, where dreams can grow. Matt and Tyler on the show. Welcome to Nampa, where dreams can grow. Matt and Tyler on the show. Welcome to Nampa, hear the beat. Join the podcast, take your seat.
All right, welcome everybody to another edition of the Nampa School District Podcast. My name is Tyler Keefe. I'm the digital communications specialist for the Nampa School District. Along with me on my left is the Mr. Matt Sizemore. Matt, how you doing today?
I am still alive. Thank you, Tyler. Always a pleasure to see you.
That is always a good thing, too.
Yeah, it helps with, life. Yeah, great to see you. We are in an awesome place today. We are live, not from our district office, not from your amazing office, but we are at the IETA conference. What does that mean, Tyler?
It is the Idaho Educational Technology Association. I believe I got that right. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I was definitely not asking because I forgot.
Yeah, you forgot, but it's okay. It's okay.
Thank you.
But yes, we are live down in Boise at the Boise Center on the Grove or whatever it's called, and we are doing a session live. We got about 20 people out here or so, and it's
you mean 100 people?
100 people, 120.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah, and we have some good guests lined up and whatnot. We're going to be talking a lot about eSports and what that is and across Idaho, but in the Nampa School District specifically.
Yeah. And I'm really excited because this is something you and I have been talking on and off about for quite a while. We have been so excited knowing that we are getting an eSports spectator arena for our district-wide eSports team. This is something that's been in the works for a long time. We're going to get into that completely. Of course, it's important to note that we are mostly qualified to play this. We are both, or to play this. Here I am already as a gamer. We are both gamers, so we can talk about esports. A lot of the games that they're playing these days, we have played. I shouldn't say that. I play NCAA and Madden and that, and and Rocket League I'm awful at, but that's a fun one as well. But esports, it's becoming something absolutely huge. I won't even say becoming something. It already is huge, and I'm just so happy to be part of the Nampa School District, who's one of the first in the area, let alone the state, to be really investing and putting a lot into this and saying, hey, esports is the future. Let's do something big with it.
Yeah, and with that, it's been a year in the making, and what we're going to do, we're going to play a little sizzle reel, as we call it. We're gonna get that going so that we can show the people in the audience. We're also going to play it on the live stream, and apparently we're good to go on the sizzle reel. Is that right?
All right. Well, we can do that now. Sure.
Or did I mess up that order?
Well, we were supposed to, yes. We'll go with yes. Right? Good job to whoever put that together on their own.
Yeah, I don't know who did that.
Yeah, my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Cody Krebs. We'll get to him later. Right now, of course, though, an incredibly important guest, someone we all know and love. Well, most of us know. We all love him, though, already. We've got our superintendent of the Nampa School District, Dr. Greg Russell, joining us. Dr. Greg Russell, so good to see you.
Hey, thanks, guys. Really appreciate you giving me a little bit of time this morning.
We've been trying to get him on the podcast for quite a while. What a venue to start in here at the Boise Center. And this is something you've been to before, the IETA. Greg, in your own words, tell us a little bit about the IETA.
Yeah, IETA is a great event. It's a great opportunity for us. I think I've been to a lot of events, and some of them have this national feel. I think what's nice about IETA is that there's a local feel to it. And there's actually quite a bit of educational research behind when teachers have the opportunity to see other folks who have similar circumstances of them being successful. They call that vicarious and mastery experiences, that it helps them in their profession. And so I think that's what I love about IETA. It's a local event. Yeah, we do have some national folks here, but it also brings a lot of the local school districts, and it gives an opportunity for our staff to learn from others and help improve our practice.
And, with that, just want to throw it out there. We do have quite a bit of our own staff that present here
Absolutely.
at IETA. They're presenting, a few of them are presenting right now in other sessions even.
Yeah, so it's a great opportunity, and I'll be honest, I think we have the best tech team in the entire state, and so we get an opportunity to share. And another thing, anytime you teach somebody something else, you get better at what that thing you're doing. So it's an opportunity for us to be able to just highlight our great district, highlight the incredible staff that we have, and then learn from others.
Yeah. So Matt, you were not here last year. This is your first IETA.
Right.
And I want us to kind of go back in time. And Greg, in this room, something amazing happened, which kind of led us to this point. Can you kind of talk to us about that and what decisions came of that?
Yeah, you bet. So I knew nothing about eSports when I came here last year. I heard it was some sort of video games you play. And I go back to my childhood when I played video games, and I remember being in my buddy's basement, and we played until 1 o'clock in the morning, and we had pizza boxes laying around. And I thought, well, why is this something that's important? What is eSports? And then I also played at sports. I grew up with athletics, and I thought, video games, athletics, these things don't mesh, right? Came here last year, and I also was told this as well. I was told, hey, we have some incredibly talented esports players in the Nampa School District. And I thought, well, all right, I want to see what these kids can do. And we watched them play here last year, and it was incredible to see their talent levels and how skilled they were playing these games. And then I was walked over to, not very far from where we are today, is the Boise State eSports arena. And we walked through that, and I got a tour of it, and I actually learned a lot about eSports, the fact that it was similar to my athletic time, that there's coaches, that there's practice times, that there's game plans, that you practice plays, and that you work as a team, you build that teamwork ability. And it really opened my eyes to so much of what esports really is. And then to come back to see our kids be so successful in it, it made me think as a superintendent, one of my primary jobs and goals is to provide opportunities for kids to be able to shine. I believe every kid has a gift, has a skill, has a talent. And part of what public schools need to do is bring that out in front of kids. And esports allows us to do that for some of our kids. And so I think it was great as we saw how successful some of our kids were. And talking with those kids last year, too, they were like, we're pretty good, but there's actually some kids in our middle schools that are just as good as us. We're going to be better. And I thought, wow, we have a huge amount of kids in here that could benefit if we were to really give them an opportunity to do that. And so that's what I thought was really interesting and kind of opened my eyes last year.
So how did it all kind of come about then that, of course, you see everything that happened here last year. It kind of opened your eyes how important esports is and really can be. How did the discussion go that really got things rolling for our district to be one of the first in the entire region to be getting an esports spectator arena?
Yeah, we'll start with questions. So how many of the kids are where are they playing at? Where do they practice at? Who's our coach? How do we build these game plans and some of these? Who do we compete against? How do we promote our students and their abilities? How do we recognize their abilities? So I think when it started with a lot of the questions with our team and saw some of the things that they were doing and realized, we have opportunities and spaces in our district. We have folks that have talents and abilities to build these spaces in our districts. And if we just got everybody on the same page and in the same direction, we could create something that I think would be the best in the state to really highlight our kids.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we are so excited to be seeing it and just everything that we've seen from, I got here 9-10 months ago or something, and it was really not much of anything, but to see the evolution of it has been something truly amazing. So I know we're going to be having the grand opening of it soon. What are you thinking? An all-staff tournament first?
I used to play games, and I thought, well, it's been a long time since I played. But when I watched their skill level, I was like, I'm actually an old man now. I probably should leave this to the younger ones and stay out of it.
You've got kids, teenagers, I believe. You playing anything with them or staying out of that?
No. I think those days have passed. The days of having a Nintendo thumb, those are over. But it is really great to see kids feel a part of their school district, to feel pride in their schools, and an opportunity like our eSports arena allows our kids to feel a part of the school district. And anytime kids feel a part of that, they're more successful. And in fact, one of our players last year, I was asking about our team, like who are these kids, where they come from? And one of our staff members came up and said, one of our players last year kind of struggled as a freshman. And until they found eSports, and when they found eSports, that really brought out that ability in them, that confidence in them, and they made it through high school. And I think, to me, those are the success stories that we just need to continue to share. And it's part of my job is to make sure that we provide those opportunities for all our kids, so that we can get our kids through school. They can see that they have value, and they can see they have futures. And I think one of our players, if I'm not mistaken, last year was so talented. They got a contract, if I remember right.
Sponsor, I believe.
And I was shocked to think that, that kids can get contracts, kids can get scholarships, just like you could in any other activity or athletics. And so I thought that was really neat, really neat.
Yeah. Well, we are so excited to have it come, like I said, to fruition, have that grand opening soon. Tyler, anything else?
No, I was going to have Cody Krebs, our IT
let's bring
Director
him
of Informational Services, come up here and join us. I know we're going a little bit out of order from what Matt started out with, but it's what I do. And those of you that are watching online, he is not in Nampa School District dress code. Just throwing that out there right now. He's in his rocker outfit.
So I see him most of the time.
But well, yeah. But Cody, last year you were given this directive of build it, and with the thought that if you build it, they will come. So that being said,
we built it in a cornfield, by the way.
Built it in a cornfield. Getting that directive of build it and go and run with it, and now that it's 99% ready and it's ready to go, walk us through that part of it from the technology side, when the whole time your focus has been how this is going to benefit our students.
Correct. And that really is where it was. Dr. Russell. The only thing that he said wrong was sponsor. But yeah, because we pretty much dominated Rocket League. You can't see me pointing. But anyway, so yeah, after that we were walking out. Let's go.
Oh, there we go. We heard some of what you said.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway,
it's very important.
We'll just keep going. So what we did was really that mentality of how do we get eSports throughout the district. We had small, tiny pockets, right? And we had previous coaches in the district that did a phenomenal job. Probably some of them so good that they left us. But anyway, so we wanted to get that group together. And how do you do that? How do you really start that buzz? So we kind of went backwards. We decided let's build it and bring them to it and then see where it goes from there. So I fully expect, because it's an awesome place, I fully expect that the schools are going to see it. They're going to be ready, and they're going to start formulating their plans so that they can play in that arena.
Cody, let me ask you while we still have Dr. Russell up here, talking with whose initial whose initial thought was it to say, hey, we can have our own arena, we can do big things with this? Was this your pitch to Dr. Russell?
It kind of was. It was me. It was Courtney Stoffer, Greg. We all kind of, Dr. Russell, we all kind of, sat around and talked about what we could do. Nampa High School, awesome kids and fantastic, school community. We thought that would be a really good place to start. So that's the location we ended up picking, and it is a district arena. It is every school has the opportunity in our district, plus outside of our districts, to play there. But really, it was that kind of just everybody was like, let's just go.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think what was helpful, I think last year when I heard about that, some of it seemed like our kids, they have to pick up their device or they'd have to run here and run there, and it felt kind of haphazard. And so if there was a way for us to be able to create a program and a system for our kids to be able to, again, share their talents, we thought if we have the abilities with our IT team to help set up the IT part, we have the space in one of our schools, we have the expertise in our maintenance department to create those spaces. We thought, why don't we just put all the talents we have in our district and help that, kind of got to guide our direction that we need to go. And so Cody's team is really instrumental in doing that and just using the skills and talents that we have already available with us.
And I do want to, if I can, talk just a little bit. I do want to give a shout out to our maintenance department because there was never really, there was none of that. Everybody wasn't involved. Everybody was on board and everybody was excited. Our carpenter handmade furniture for inside of there and did an amazing job inside of that broadcast booth. And I mean, they were all into it. It was amazing.
Yeah, as soon as I think that just, again, shows our district, anything they can do to help benefit kids, are some abilities to do that. And that's what was wonderful to see.
Well, and I think that brings up a point is when last year when we had those 3 students who were sponsored by, was it Lenovo?
Lenovo, STS, Education. And then there was a laptop bag company.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I can't remember the name.
And they actually had a signing day because normally we'll have a sports signing day and all that, but we did one special for them.
Yep.
And I remember hearing the parents after we posted it on our social media. The parents were like, "Thank you for recognizing our kids," and being able to say like our kids had nothing. They there was really this hole that was missing, and they were able to say that this filled that, and they like you were saying how this got them through school, where for me personally it was football that got me through school, but for these kids now it's going to be eSports. It's going to be who knows what's going to be next, but for us to take that lead and like, no, let's go with it. Let's not just say nope, we're not playing video games. That's dumb. But we embraced it, and we're gonna hopefully lead the way.
Yeah, and I'm sure Boise State will talk about this too, but I just want to remind everybody, the reason why we built the Spectator Arena the way we did is because it's the other kids too. We've got the broadcast kids. We've got the kids interested in shoutcasting, content creation,
production,
production side. It's
I think that's a good
amazing
point, Cody. It's more than just the games, that we have so many other things that we can do to help, again, bring out those talents of our students. And it's nice that we have that opportunity to do that now.
Yeah. Greg, last question then for you while we still have you up here. It sounds like after visiting the IETA, seeing everything you saw last year, talking with Cody, talking with everybody else, it seems like this became a pretty relatively easy decision to take that next step and be pioneers in this.
Yeah, it really was because, we had the building blocks, we had all the pieces there, and sometimes the job of the superintendent is just to kind of get the team together and talk about what we have and kind of have everyone see that direction. And it's really helpful when you have somebody like Cody who kind of has a spark already to start that. And then we have the kids and the talents there. And then when we all focus on the kids, I think it's easy to put the team together and kind of move in that direction. So really, really excited for it, and really want to see it grow and how it's going to impact the lives of more students.
Perfect. All right. Well, Dr. Russell, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
today.
guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we want to bring up now, that's right, let's give him a round of applause. Thanks for being here. Now we want to bring up someone who worked very closely with Mr. Cody Krebs, the rock star over here. Let's bring up systems integration and sales from Marshall Industries, Mr. Jeremy Waddell. Jeremy, everyone. Oh, no one cares.
And
I care, Jeremy.
Big seat to fill.
As Jeremy's coming up, just want to remind everybody, this is the NSD Podcast. We are live from IETA Idaho at the conference. Crank it up, which is why Cody
crank it to 11.
Crank it to 11. My bad. My bad.
That's right.
Which is why Cody is dressed like a rock star. Although I'm sure he'd dress like this any day.
They wanted me to change my hair from every day, but I was
You
not
said
cutting
no.
my hair.
Yeah.
That's not your real hair.
And it is. Yeah.
This is
That's
also
why-
my
yeah,
real hair.
I know.
Thank you.
You both look fantastic. So you two were instrumental in putting the first, and I want to say this, we know for a fact this is going to be, in terms of school districts, Idaho's first eSports spectator arena, which is amazing. We are so thrilled about that. potentially the Pacific Northwest as well. We don't
Very
know
possible. That's not confirmed, but it's very possible.
that. So we're going to go with it.
Yep.
We don't know of another one yet.
Yet, exactly. So you guys have been instrumental. It has been looking phenomenal. Why don't you two tell us a little bit about well, actually, let's start with this. Jeremy, Marshall Industries. What exactly is Marshall Industries?
So we are a systems integration company. This is our 50th year in business. We've got a couple Salt Lake offices. That's where headquarters is, and we've got an office here in Idaho. Basically, if it on the education side, I handle so systems integration is all of the engineering. It's all of making people's ideas come to light on the physical side. So I do that and then wrap that up in the sales piece as well. But what I normally tell people is if it's in a school and makes noise or shows a picture, we probably can do it for you.
Sounds like kids.
Yeah. Well, Cody took that really literally because last year, probably 18 months ago, he leaked the theme of IETA being eSports. And I'm like, okay. And I was a gamer as well, but it was the same thing. It was, dragging your Xbox around LAN parties or whatever. It wasn't like what it is now, and I really wasn't sure the level of what he wanted to do, and that kind of snowballed big time to now and what we've gotten going. But we're a partner with the district. We've done a lot of AV projects, whether it's gyms or the video walls or the arena, and we do that side of things.
You guys do PAs, you do all that.
Yeah, we do site-wide, district-wide school safety. We do classroom AV. We do a tremendous amount of stuff. Yeah, if it shows a picture, makes a noise, we probably do it.
Gotcha. So you just said it kind of snowballed into that. So how did this kind of all come about? Let's get into that a little more. Did it start as like, we're just going to put together a room, throw up a couple TVs, or did you both initially when planning together have the grand scheme of what it turned into?
Are you talking about the event last year, or are you talking about
no.
arena?
The arena.
No, yeah, so I could kind of chat. Once we found the location, it started out as 2 classrooms. So we got to knock a wall out. I had a piece of paper and I drew it. And I said, this will be the stage, this will be the broadcast booth. And then it's going to be crazy AV, lots of stereo, lots of sound, lots of cameras. And that's where he came in. But basically, he took my piece of paper and then he actually kind of digitized it. It wasn't that impressive. He thinks it's impressive.
Like
it wasn't the MS Paint that you handed me, but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't MS Paint.
It got the point across.
But really, that was it. That's where we started. So then, and with the help of also, I want to mention Jerry Fleming was instrumental in managing this project. My technology team did all the cabling and as much as we could. They were awesome, again, part of the team and maintenance again. But yeah, basically I told Jeremy my ideas. We started talking about it. Some of them, I don't let anybody know this, but they were ideas stolen from Doc at Boise State.
We know. Doc knows.
So yeah, just don't tell Doc. But no, he knows already. Yeah, we got some ideas from there, and how can we kind of do an NSD spin on what he's built over there, and that's kind of where it came from. I got Jeremy. I would tell him something, and he would just make it happen. And then we had some other sponsors that came in and helped. Information Technology Corps was massive. They helped us out so much with getting the right machines and different things like that. And HP came in with Omen. They helped us out quite a bit, but yeah, really it was all in here. With a bunch of great ideas from really smart people.
Which is scary, thinking it's all
totally
up there.
Scary, yeah, because, I'm a tech director too, so I did this in my spare time.
Well, and how many RGB lights are there? Because that makes it all go faster and better.
It does, yeah, if the Wi-Fi's up.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's really how it happened. And it was honestly, it was not a planned out plan. It was just because when I was told to go, I'm going to go, right? I don't need to be told, wait. So
a year ago, did you see what we have now over at Nampa High School? Did you see what we have now in your head?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
oh,
100%. That's why I bought the movie theater seats when the movie theater went out of business, unfortunately, in Nampa. And they were happy. They loved what we were doing, and gave us great deals on that stuff. They look spectacular, but those seats live on, right? They're gonna have an audience in there watching their kids play,
and they're not sticky.
And they're not sticky.
Not anymore.
No, Jeremy over there did a good job of getting all the gum off. So
Not me.
Good.
Other
Not that
You're
Jeremy.
Other Jeremy.
Other Jeremy.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So yeah.
I don't want to take any credit
It's
for
weird
that.
doing a podcast with an audience because then you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make fun of him, and
Yeah.
nobody knows who he is.
No,
but-
And
we're,
it's the
we're
same
pointing
name.
it.
and
So
it's the same
We're
name,
gonna fight to the death later. There can only be one.
There can
We'll make
only
sure
be
to
one.
live stream that as well.
So one question that I have for this Jeremy, who's in front of the mic, not the Jeremy behind me, who's making signs at me, but with all the equipment that we have in the eSports Spectator Arena, can you kind of tell us what the students ultimately are going to be able to do outside of playing
Yeah.
games in there?
Absolutely. So I'll go back a little bit so we can get back to this. But when Cody came to me a year and a half ago, because I wanted to get into the BSU thing a little bit, I'll try to keep this short. But he's like, "Hey, can we do an esports tournament at this event?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course we can." I have no idea how to do this at this point in time. And I was like, "We can do it, but I need to see what your vision is." So we went to Boise State, and I probably spent 8 hours there total, and they were amazing and showed me every production thing and how all their AV worked and what it all does. And Cody and I were there, and he's like, "This is what I want. This is my vision." And between the physical, this is how it works, we put together last year, which I thought went off better than we could have ever imagined. And
100%.
Cody's vision was early though, because he's telling me we're sitting in here watching, and he's like, "We're doing this at Nampa School District." I was like, "Huh? What do you like? What do you mean?" He goes, "No, we're building this permanently at Nampa. I want a miniature version of BSU at Nampa." I'm like, "Okay, let's do that too." So I mean, that started long before even IETA last year. I know you had that in your head, and
Right.
so when I got Cody's crayon drawing and we, and his dreams, which is like that's my favorite thing to do though, is like I want to talk to the dreamers. I want to talk to the guys that are like, I have this thought in my head and I want to know if it's possible. It's like, yes, it's absolutely possible. Let me figure out how to do it. And so for you guys, the base level of everything was a place where they could play and compete, and there could be live spectators there, and then most of the time, right, so like we're live streaming this, but this is for the people in the room and it's for us right here. So with the arena, it's like, how do we make a really cool arena for viewing, for local viewing, so they can sit there and watch, and they can see the screens of the people that are playing. I know we used to screen watch like your little brother playing, 64. They can't do that because we've got another TV behind them that can show like teams, and we got lights, and we got all this wild stuff that makes that experience really good. But then we've got a bunch of full high-def cameras that can live stream the room, and they can be changed depending on the team. They can be set up for Smash Bros on the 100-inch in the front, or they can be set up to play whatever other game. We've got the Shoutcast booth. You guys could technically do something unrelated to a live game event there just from Shoutcast. You guys have practice areas in the front and back that we can use. Every video input can be sent to any display. The audio can be selected. Like we set that up for the basics of an esports playing arena with people watching, but we have the ability there to still continue to do everything. One of you guys said, "Oh, it's a 99% done." Not in Cody's head, and I know that for a fact because he's already been like, "Bro, we gotta add more stuff." And I'm like, "Okay," because it's just. We knew it was going to evolve too. It was one of the things that we knew that when it was done and when you guys start playing, other Jeremy is going to say, "Hey, can we do this?" And the answer is yes. You might have to move a couple things around or add some stuff.
Well, he just came up with something yesterday.
I don't even know what it is yet.
At the event or the tournament that we had yesterday, he goes, "How can we do what Boise State's doing here for us?"
Yeah,
And
we
we went and talked, and we started talking. And
yeah,
we're
we
coming
can
up with a plan.
we can do a lot there, but the base of the room right now, when we start running this, is going to be live local, events with a full-blown group of spectators with awesome AV. They can play music when they're not going. They can put anything you want in there. And, oh, by the way, you can live stream this all out. So
Well,
it's...
The other thing with it too, I was, as a teacher 15 years, I was an instructional coach, technology coach, is when I first walked in the room after it was done, my thought, yes, esports stuff is fantastic, but then I started thinking, how can we bring other teachers in here for professional development? Because we do have the computers available, but also you have that ability to bring a group of teachers in the room, and we could broadcast out to other schools for presentations at the same time. So it's a room that can be used for multiple different facets, not just esports. So for, people listening like, "Oh, this is just for video games," not necessarily. There's multiple different things that can be used for, especially as you're talking about the shoutcasters, the production, all of those things, because there are people like myself. I'm on the camera right now, but a lot of the stuff I do for the district, I'm behind the camera. I'm doing the stuff. I'm making him look good. which is it's
That's up for
to
debate,
go
by the
back to that, how amazing would that be if it's the kids producing that for the teachers?
oh, dude, that'd be powerful.
No matter what the content is, right? How big is that? That's huge.
Well, you guys can do something there that, I mean, you're creating a whole nother class per se, or like a learning environment for a student. And
It's an entire broadcast booth.
yeah,
There.
yeah. But you could have I know BSU's
It's not done. It's not done yet.
99%.
in his head. I know BSU's got amazing broadcast, and I know that's something that you can get into in college. And I don't know of a high school that's got a broadcast live booth with a department and all the sound, video, and I mean, it's pretty impressive what you could do past just gaming in there.
And that right there is the perfect segue because, as we've said, we are the first district, at least in the state, to have something like that. Cody, I want to point out how amazing I think it is that you were able to draw this out on your head, knowing that in your head you're still running Windows 95 or something along those lines.
XP.
But maybe XP. But Cody,
A lot out here in this audience probably don't know what Windows 95 is. So.
I want to know how many of them are old enough to know the Spinal Tap reference of the entire.
Well, evidently they didn't because they messed it up.
I didn't.
Well, and here's something which someone just sent a comment on here that they're trying to start esports at Union.
They are,
within our district, which I didn't know, and they're literally saying reach out because they want to get connected. So it's like there's already a need that they didn't realize we were already doing. So the interconnectedness of things, once you build it, they come. There's proof of it right there.
There it is. And with that, the segue I was talking about, Cody, I wanted to ask you, why in your mind was it important if that was even your thought, why was it so important for us to immediately jump on this and be the first in the state, if not the entire region, to have something like this?
Well, you just answered it.
Oh, okay. There it is, to be the first.
I love all Idaho kids, but Nampa kids are the best, and this just one-ups them again. So, yeah, there you go. And honestly, it was because we beat BK last year. So that's really the
beat is a gentle.
Okay, we dominated.
Gentle word for what
BK
I saw
last
happen.
year. Let's just put it
Mopped
that way.
the floor
Now I have
with
been
BK.
promised that Overwatch tournament today we might have some different results, but that's okay. That's
Okay.
all right. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I did hear that there was some stakes on the line for that tournament.
Not with me this time, no. But my coaches over there, I heard there's something going on, maybe some stakes or something. But yeah. So
Do you know if we already have? This is something I don't even know. The esports programs throughout the high schools, the feeder programs from junior highs. Are there a good amount of kids right now in these programs? And you were talking about last year we had some phenomenal kids getting sponsored. Did they all graduate or
they did.
Okay.
Yeah. So they never had plans to move on with esports, or they all had already made their plan. They were all seniors at the time, so they had already made all their plans for what they were doing after. And unfortunately, they were not totally aware of the opportunities out there for scholarships and different things like that. So we're working now at NSD to make sure that, or I at least try to make sure I send any kind of information that I have about that to our career and college readiness programs, and to let the kids know that those opportunities are out there. But again, awesome kids. I love the time that I got to know them, and they're all doing their thing, and some are in college, some are, just out there working. And so good kids. Still talk to some of them. So.
Nice. Gotcha. Do you want, and you don't have to do this, do we have a date that you want to talk about for our grand opening yet?
So we are hoping for the end of February or possibly the first week of March.
Okay.
If you are lucky enough to get an invite. Then
Talking to you, Matt. not
I know,
me.
me specifically.
I
Thank
have
you.
my invite.
he's
that's
already.
good.
I gave him a key to the.
Yeah.
He already knows the exact date, and you're just like, yeah, we'll see.
So
I wasn't invited. I was just told I have to be there.
So we will be sending out the invites again, really. And to go back to your student thing, I just want to let you know that we do have some of a couple of our middle schools. One's ready to go. Lone Star started this year. What did you say? How many kids? 60 what? 60 to 80 kids are in their esports program right now.
Including my son. So
Yeah.
I'm well aware, and they're doing Awesome stuff.
So if you are thinking about going esports in your district, middle schools as well, don't forget those guys. So and with that, what I've got ready for each one of our schools is 6 HP machines ready to go. They're on a pallet. Well, I think 5 out of the 6. I don't know how many are on the pallet still, ready to go to the school. We're hoping when they come to the event, they see what we've done there, what we've built for our kids, that they will be ready to go now, right? They're going to find that space. But
that feeder program in operation, the farm system, if you will.
Yep.
Nice. Well, I'm too excited for all of this to be happening.
I'll see if I might send you an invite.
Yeah, I was going to say, if I get that invite, I'm excited. Otherwise, you guys do whatever you want. But yeah, I'm really excited. Anything else you guys want to add about how this all came about, or the excitement level, or anything else?
No, I'm going to keep going until somebody tells me to knock it off.
Okay, I'm about to tell you to knock it off.
I'm talking about esports, buddy.
Oh. I thought you meant this
It's better to
podcast.
ask forgiveness than permission.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Which the two of us together is not good.
While being fiscally responsible.
Of course.
That
Always
goes
good.
without saying.
Yeah.
But with that, I do want to, again, if you have excellent partners like Marshall's,
Yeah.
they will do what they can. The partners that we have at NSD, the vendors that I use that at NSD, they have my mission, and that's the kid first. So they are going to do what they can to make what you need to happen. So
Yeah, we leveraged hard. Like I'll give them a shout out. Like this 160 plus inch video wall here, LG flew this in brought this in. We got 3 people here from LG to help put it together. They get, they're get nothing out of it besides being able to come here and help us. All the displays are LG. They take care of us on pricing. Harman, who is the JBL, Crown, they all took care of us. Like, we've got some awesome partners. Cody gave me a budget in the beginning that we shockingly stayed within until Cody's ideas started growing again. But we were able to do this at a really reasonable. I was nervous in the beginning that we were going to be through the moon on this thing, but it ended up coming in right where we needed it to be.
Yeah.
And this is going to look awesome in my office.
Yeah, I'm still working with LG on that one. So
I hope you've got a good optometrist. You can go blind looking at that thing that close.
For this event, though, too, what we're doing here and what we did last year, we had other great partners that helped us out with this, like Ednetics and ITC again, and HP put the machines up, and Spectrum Furniture's here, and they brought all this awesome, esports furniture in here for this show. They also did our furniture out at our arena. So,
and you know what? I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one other thing I wanted to ask you about. The IETA in general, of course, incredibly important. You've been in your role as well as just education in general for a very long time. Why is this conference here? What do you see it as? Why is it so important?
I see it just as Dr. Russell said. It's that local community. We have people here that are extremely smart in this state. We don't have to fly people from all over the world to come in and talk to us. We can teach each other so much here, and there are kids. It's Idaho kids.
Yeah.
So that's what I find is that community side and that partnership with just our own districts. It's important.
Absolutely.
So,
all right. Anything else you want to throw out?
No, I think that's a good segue there. And thanks for joining us, you two. Get back to rocking the way you do.
well, I got to comb my hair now because your headphones messed it up.
Our bad.
Same.
Our bad.
No, I appreciate you guys and Cody, all your ideas and trusting us to make this thing happen, and all the partners you guys brought in on this. But it's been a fun ride. I know it ain't even close to over, so
we're just getting started.
Let's keep going.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Thank you, guys. Of course, right there. That's NSD's Director of Information Services, Cody Krebs, as well as Marshall Industries Systems Integration and Sales, Jeremy Waddell. Thank you, gentlemen. We're going to bring up 3 gentlemen right now who, unfortunately, 2 will have to share a mic, or however you want to do that. But 3 very special guests who know more about esports than I'm going to assume anyone. Let's bring up Dalton Hawkins. He's the chair on the board of directors for Idaho eSport, or I should say all of these gentlemen are with the Idaho Esports Association. Dalton Hawkins first. We've got Nate Sarazola, Treasure Valley coordinator, and also on the board of directors, as well as Garrick Cohn, middle school coordinator, and on the board of directors. Gentlemen, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. If you guys want the lore fun fact here,
Yes.
that the Nampa High esports team, I started it.
Did
Yeah,
you?
so I tell Cody, I'm really jealous of what you guys have because when I started it was in the closet of Building 100. And we cobbled together that, and it was really fun. And it's kind of fun seeing the kids that I used to coach competing against them. So, but yeah, there's your fun fact for the day.
Gotcha. And when was that?
That would have been 2021, 2022 school year. So yeah, it was
Way back in the day.
way back in the day. So
old.
it was a good time. I am absolutely just jealous of what you guys have going on there, and I'm going to take that sizzle reel to Bishop Kelly and go, how do we build this?
My school district. I would like you to look at that. Just saying.
Like I
We'll
said,
be sure to
maybe.
share that sizzle reel on all of our socials. So
I included.
not that it's not branded everywhere, you know.
No.
Oh, yeah.
No, totally
We'll
not.
just tag every other.
I got to show that to our superintendent. I got to bring that up over there completely over at Idaho
Yeah.
Falls.
And you guys were talking about regionally, so we are part of a interstate scholastic esports association. From what I know on Washington, they don't have one for high school.
Wow.
That I'm aware of. Someone is going to correct me somewhere. And Oregon is just getting started in esports.
And here we
from what
are.
I know. And Montana, I think, is their first official season.
Okay. So why don't we start with that then? What exactly is the Idaho Esports Association?
Yeah, we're a 501c3. We're a nonprofit organization here in the state of Idaho. Our main goal, and actually our mission statement, if you will, that Doc Haskell over at BSU kind of helped us coin, is that our win condition is kids playing games. So if the kids are playing, then we are winning, no matter what. And then, so what we are a group of educators that have come together and said, we need an opportunity for our students in Idaho to have Idaho competition. There's 3 big national organizations right now that you can participate in. Generation Esports, Valhalla Esports League, and Play Versus. And yeah, you can play with them, but you play with like a team down in California. And like if you think about your school pride or whatever that is, a lot of times you have that rivalry with a nearby school. Like for Sandpoint, we are like, let's beat Lakeland or Moscow or whoever that is. I think Bishop Kelly, everyone just wants to beat Bishop Kelly.
It's true.
It comes with the brand.
But you have that local connection, and all of a sudden the kids, it's not just some team from California. It's we're going up against the state champions. Like, it's intimidating, and we took a round on them. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're nonprofit. We're here for the kids. We're actually all volunteer. We don't take any type of paycheck from this. And the whole idea being that we're trying to keep it affordable for our students.
Nice.
Yeah, and talking about growth, realistically, we started in 2021. So the year I was over at Nampa, we started 2021. The state championship was like 16 teams. It was, I think, like 10 schools. This year, we have over 1,000 students in Idaho competing across middle school and high school. We are part of a national organization. I think it's somewhere in the tune of like 90 plus schools now are part of us, joining us, getting started. I think every year we've got a whole bunch of schools getting involved and building up their programs. It's been incredible. And talking success in Idaho, so the management platform we use, League OS, they're a cool team over there. They help us kind of run our state, organize or run our season, organize everything. But their main push is being connected to the colleges and getting kids connected to colleges and having that next step after high school. Last year in 2024, across the tens of thousands of kids across the nation that competed in esports, Idaho had 9 kids in the top 100. Wow. So 3 of those kids were from BK. I just humble brag, but it was really cool because they got invited out to Ohio State to go compete in a combine in front of a whole bunch of college recruiters to have that showcase. And we've seen success across the state. You're thinking recognition and how cool it is for kids and all that stuff. We've got a whole bunch of kids that have seen success after high school going to college for esports. The few shout outs I know off the top of our head is Valley View. They've got at least a kid over there, game captain, playing for Valorant for U of I. Idaho Falls has a kid over at Idaho State playing Smash Bros. Middleton has their former Rocket League player over at Boise State helping with casting. BK, I've got a kid playing Street Fighter 6 at BSU and was helping with casting. And we just have so many more. I mean, colleges across the nation, but especially the colleges in Idaho. We're talking, Go On Idaho and things like that. I mean, this has been an incredible opportunity. We're seeing success all across programs around the state, just getting kids to colleges thanks to esports. So, yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
I was just gonna say, like, we love where we're at and seeing these kids go and grow and get to take that next step. Last year, we actually started the middle school league. It was the first year we did it. We had 4 or 5 teams, I think, total.
Something like that.
Yeah, not a lot, and it was a great experience. We had, we were able to get some state trophies and stuff for them, and it was a really cool experience. And so this year, as we go into our second one, we actually have, I think, another 5 or 10 schools that are signing up. And I heard about Lone Star yesterday with, 60 to 80 kids. That's going to almost double.
Oh, man.
That's going to double the middle school program.
We need to find you some more help.
I know, right? Golly. But yeah, so we're really excited. And on top of middle school, right? Because when we established middle school, we established 6th through 8th grade, right?
Okay.
This year, we are opening it up to elementary starting at 4th grade.
Oh, all right.
Because we want to give kids that chance to start young and just work and progress. Because, I mean, esports isn't just games. It's you're learning that discipline. Yeah. You're learning that competition, that
Teamwork.
communication, all that
Teamwork
stuff.
is huge.
Yeah, it's all that stuff that's going to help you succeed regardless of what industry you go into work.
Yeah. And also giving kids kind of on the teamwork note, that teamwork area, just something to be a part of as well, being truly part of the team. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I just wanted to share a real quick story. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off.
No,
I'm terrible at this.
I talk too much. Go.
When I started Eagle Rock 3 years ago, we had a League of Legends team. Right, there's not a lot of them in the state, so if you guys are thinking of League of Legends, you got a really good shot at being first, right? But we had a League of Legends team. All 5 of my kids were 7th graders. Only 2 of them knew each other because they were twins. The rest of the group, all 5 of them, they didn't know anybody else in the group. And all these kids were loners. I taught some of them, and they didn't have friends. They sat at lunch alone. They didn't have anything. Over the course of that season, those 5 became best friends. Like, they are still hanging out together daily in high school. They are working together. They go do stuff. They play D&D together because we're all nerds. And so it was to see them all come out of their shell and see them like congregate in the hallways between classes has been, I almost get emotional about this every time. It's the peak of what this is about.
Oh, yeah. No, and I would agree. Like, same for me up in Sandpoint. I would say my biggest form of attrition is kids making friends and going and doing something else. They come in, like, it's like the first place the counselor's like, hey, what are you interested in? And, I mean, talk to any teenager ever, like, oh, I play video games.
Yes.
Oh, well, we have an eSports program. Go and check them out. And I'm like, okay, cool. Hey, how's it going, bud? And he's like, okay, go. How's it going? And then he makes a friend, and then they both, like, I'm like, well, there goes my Valorant player. Cool. And I think that's kind of where a lot, like, we could probably go all day with the number of parents that have come up to us and said, thank you. Whenever I'm at, like, the state esports tournament that we have at the very end of the season, BSU graciously and with like ICCU and a couple others, they help sponsor that. I've had players, I've had coaches, I've had parents come up to me. I've never met these people before in my life. They just know that I like help run the organization, and they're like, we just want to thank you for everything that you're doing. And I'm like, that's what I love. I love to see that. Sometimes the interactions, if you've never done an all-day gaming competition where it's esports, it's exhausting. Still, my favorite thing is my first year as the chair director, or whatever my position title is, watching a Bishop Kelly player go up to his parent and just like, go, I'm so tired. And I was like, oh, that's so adorable. But like, but it's like one of those things that you don't think about, but you know, like the parents were there supporting their kids. And for me, I think that's just absolutely massive. This last week, Boise State held Winter Games, and I was watching from the comfort of my home, which was really nice. And the shoutcasters at BSU were talking about a player whose gamer tag was like Cammy or something like that. And the parent, I'm assuming it was the parent, was like, they're talking about my kid. And I'm just so proud. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm going for. Like, that's what I love to hear is parents and players and coaches being able to make those connections.
Well, and with that, it kind of brings me, excuse me, to the question that I was having, and Matt, just kind of keep you on track here. We got about 20 minutes, and we still have BSU to talk to.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk all day.
So talking about parents, you know, me being a parent, I remember when my wife was literally like, "Why are you letting Zane, my son, play video games so much?" I'm like, "Well, because he loves games."
Right.
Well, that's not going to amount to anything. I go, just watch. And so then he started, I mean, I always say this, he's stupid good he plays Fortnite, but whatever.
Yeah.
We've added that this year. So.
Yeah, we have that this year, but not for middle school.
Oh man.
Yeah.
He's 7th grade, but you know,
No, not yet.
but how do you, not necessarily how do you deal with, how do you handle, what do you say to parents that are very resistant of letting them get into esports? I mean, some parents are like, yeah, have at it, go to town, but the resistant parents.
Yeah, no, and it's a very the first thing that people always latch on to, I feel like, is the term esports. They hear the word sports and they're like, it's not a sport. I'm like, we can have this argument all day. I'll give it to you as an activity. Sure. Can we agree on activity? Like bowling. Okay. About the same thing. But where I kind of go is, my program, we actually go to the weight room. We go to the track. We walk the hallways if the football team's taking up the weight room. And it's just covered in snow on the track. We'll walk around. We might do some push-ups. We do like a half-hour physical activity. My middle schoolers, they need that. They need to blow off that steam. But then a lot of it is showing these connections that we make with these kids. Like I will always probably have parents that push against it, and I always say, play with your kid. Like, play the game with your kid, and you should be doing that anyway, just in terms of that way you know what type of content that they're interacting with, and they can see what the interactions are that are happening online. And so that's where I always start, is play with your kid. And if you're trying to start a program and you have some resistant parents, like I actually had a player come to me and say, hey, can we do like a father-son or like adult-kid like tournament type thing where it's me and my parent versus like another kid and their parent, and like have something like that. Looks like Nampa is saying like, we're gonna do that. So yeah, do something like that, and that way they have the chance of seeing it and invite them. Like I love what you guys are doing, and I was like, I wonder how much Nampa pays. And Nampa.school/jobs, right? But seeing that, like, yeah, have an event where, you know, bring the parents in to see what their kids are doing. And that's the hard thing to see a lot of times with esports, is that in-person event, and like going to the Boise State like arena and seeing the end state. So many parents are like, what is going on? Like, there's people that are yelling, like, Yella Zolo over here. Yeah, I'm trademarking that. He gets going, and he's just like loud, and it's literally like, wow, like this is going on. BSU has like cowbells and like going off, like, oh, it's just so crazy. But Garrick had something to add.
Yeah, I was just going to add in there. When I have a whole spiel when we're doing our parent meeting before it starts, and I talk to them, I tell them about the college scholarships. We have the luxury, like Nate said, Gavin from Idaho Falls got signed because of his performance at state last year. And so I have that opportunity to tell the parents that. And I just stress to them, like, if you don't treat this like a sport, your kids aren't going to treat this like a sport. Mm-hmm. If you're not serious about helping them do this, they're not going to be serious either. It really does fall on the parents a lot on how hard your students are going to play. And so I really stress that with the parents, and that seems to resonate pretty well.
And I always chat too. I said it's not playing video games. They're competing in the sport. And my biggest thing that I always showcase as a coach is, here's my practice routine. Out of the 2 hours that I ask them to play, 30 minutes of it is actually playing video games. And they're like, and parents go, whoa, wait, what? And what I always say too is you still get hesitance, you still get pushback, and I say, let them play for 1 year. Give me 1 season. Come watch. Then let's have the conversation afterwards.
Yeah.
And it's 110% success rate now, I think, at this point. So I think, that really works out. So yeah, I think that's kind of the big thing is it's hard to understand, but new things oftentimes are confusing. And I think it's give it a shot, let them try it out. And it's excellent. So,
And so to steal a phrase from my son, you do force your players to touch grass.
Yes.
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 Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Touch grass.
Yeah. It's, I encourage them. I mean, I had a parent be like, yeah, like, I'm worried my son is spending too much time. And so I sat down with the team. I said, you guys are not allowed to play video games this week. You have to take a picture of yourself hanging out with each other in person, touching grass.
Yeah.
And they did. And they hung out. And now every single week they go see a movie together. And it's like, all right, sweet, cool. We built a tradition and a habit. So, yeah.
Awesome. Let me just ask you guys one last thing because we're just about out of time.
No, you're
but the evolution, basically, of esports in Idaho.
Yeah.
You guys were saying there's over 900 players now throughout.
Yeah,
this-
over 1,000.
No,
Over
Oh.
1,000 kids now
Yeah, I
at
think-
this point.
I saw like 1,300 the other day.
Yeah.
Jeez. How encouraged and excited are you for what you've seen throughout the years to where it's at now and where it's going?
It's so I started it in Sandpoint with esports 8 years ago, and for all I knew at that point in time was that I was the only school in the state of Idaho that was running esports. I'm sure there's I think Mountain Home was actually running at that point in time. Like there's north and south, that difference. But for me, whenever I finally heard about the Southern League that was happening, I was like, what? You guys did not have a state because we were not invited. But just where that's gone now that we can kind of see what our numbers are, because for several years we were doing spreadsheets, which if you're trying to start an organization, do not use spreadsheets. Just go to League OS or someone else.
Unless you have a Nate Cerzola who's a spreadsheet guy.
Yeah, right. But just going in that, it's absolutely crazy and amazing to see how much interest that there's started to become. Last year's IETA event, you guys talked about it. It was a huge boost for our organization just in terms of schools. They still didn't commit to it, but now they're starting. They've found out about it. They're having those internal discussions, and they're saying, "Hey, we can do this." It's honestly, it's one of probably the more accessible for our small schools, because to have a Rocket League team, you need 3 players. If you're a school of 100 people, I'm sure you can find 3 people that play Super Smash Bros. So I think just that ability and trying to reach more and more and more of the state. If you, I'm just going to plug ourselves in case we don't get a chance. If you want more information, idahoesports.gg, and feel free to email us at any point in time.
And my outlook on the future is, if there's one telling thing, people are reaching out to us to sponsor the entire association. We're not having, we're always looking to expand and grow. We always want people to, but, TeamSpeak reached out to us. And they're like, how do we get TeamSpeak to all the Idaho schools? The ICA joining us, we're getting part of that. But, I see things like what Nampa School District is doing.
Yeah.
I remember back when I started, it was a struggle to get it. It was a struggle to keep it going. And now you guys are legitimately sending crates of PCs to each and every school, plus your spectator arena and everything. I go, this is the start. And
that song.
It
Look
was
How Far
moment
We've
one
Come.
though, when Nampa won the state championship for Rocket League, and it was a few teams, but we won. And immediately people are like, how do I get into this next year? I was like, oh, we're sold. And yeah, just, you think we run out of schools, and then our inbox this past couple weeks has been nothing but, hi, I'm a new school. I want to get joined. Can I join this season?
Nice.
And I just go, I'm so excited. I've got kids coming in. Their parents know what esports is, and they're like, I want my kid involved in this. I'm going to your school because you guys have a good program. And I go, all right, we're in. We sold this. We're solid. Esports is only going up. It's the reason why Boise State's athletics is looking at it. It's the reason why the entire Midwest is become esports focused. It's why the HyperX Arena exists in Vegas. It's why all those things exist, is because it's the new trend, and kids are getting good, and we're seeing so many positive things coming out of esports that. I've got nothing but high faith that it'll only get bigger and better.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I'll keep mine short.
Thank you.
I am excited. I'm so pumped.
Awesome. Thank you, Gary. All right, gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for being
thanks
on.
for
Thank you
having us
guys
on.
for having us.
And all the
Thanks
great
for having
info.
us.
All with the Idaho Esports Association. That was Dalton Hawkins, Nate Sarazola, as well as Garrick Cohn. Thanks so much, gentlemen. And right now, let's bring up BSU's own Riley Boyd, the Business Development Coordinator for Boise State Esports. Riley, it is a pleasure to have you on as you get those cans on and join the mic. How you doing, sir?
Good, good. How are you guys?
I am good. We are great. So excited to have you here representing Boise State today and their amazing esports program. I've known Doc now for a long time, back from my reporting days, just watching what your esports program has turned into, from having just the big computer labs seemingly over on campus to the beautiful arena that you're in now, as well as national champ. I mean, tell us a little bit about the evolution of Boise State esports.
I mean, when we think about the start of Boise State Esports, we don't even think about the big computer lab. We think about Doc's office on campus 8 years ago. Ray Barnes, who's here in the audience, was here almost at the beginning when they were broadcasting literally out of an education office in the Ed building. And it's grown exponentially over an 8-year period. I mean, we went from an office to a classroom where the goal was be as loud as possible to make Boise State move us into somewhere that was bigger and better. And then it went to the library, and then obviously the library is not a very noise conducive place. And so then, into where we are now, and then slowly expanding out there and doing more. I mean, it's as someone who saw it from the outside at first, and then was part of it for a little while, and then left, and then now is back. Seeing the evolution is it's ridiculous.
God, and why don't you tout the program a little bit? You guys have won how many national championships? How many Mountain Wests? All of those.
So 4 natties.
Oh,
15 Mountain West championships. We lost track of the total conference championships, but we're, I think, in the mid-20s at this point. 3 more this last year, and then we're already another 2 this current year. It's been a lot of fun, and so much of that comes from the fact that, you know, the Mountain West has done such a good job of saying, you know, we want to be involved in this, right? We want to sponsor this, and we want to do this at a level that feels like it's something, not just, oh, we're going to do this because this is, you know, a small group of people want to do it. No, like it's on the Mountain West Network. We push our broadcast to the Mountain West Network. You know, Commissioner Navarez was there at the Mountain West Championships this year. We played outside of Albertson Stadium before the UNLV game this year for CFP 25, and sold out the arena, about 150 people in there for the San Jose State game for the Rocket League Mountain West Championship the day after. Like, it's crazy. The Mountain West has taken such a big role in that, and we're thankful to them for sure.
Awesome.
Now, would you say that the Mountain West is kind of taking the lead across the nation as far as esports, or are other conferences, are they kind of in step with the Mountain West? Are they catching up? Like, where would they fall in line with those?
At a D1 level, it's the best there is in the country. I'm convinced of that. You know, the Big Ten has something that has been ran. It started, you know, by the directors, and, you know, the conference is getting involved in it. What was previously the Pac-12, now I guess it's still the Pac-12. We don't know what that's going to look like, obviously, but, you know, they had the Pac-U, which was ran by directors. And then there's a lot of, you know, Division II conferences. The Peach Belt does a pretty good job of those things, but at a Division I FBS level, it's not even close. The Mountain West is, to steal their terminology, it's at the peak.
and you know, speaking of peak, you guys know a little something about winning.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you went through everything. I mean, the fact that you said you lost track of conference championships, I mean, that says it all right there. But going to winning and all that's fantastic. But when we talk about taking care of people and students in particular, what does your program do that other programs possibly don't do that's unique to Boise State?
I think it's a mentality and a focus shift from a lot of other universities across the country. I've worked at 2 other universities now, and I love them dearly. So the mentality with esports there was, how do we drive enrollment? How do we bring more students in? Which is fantastic, and that's a great role of a program. Our administration has focused not on enrollment but on retention. We don't necessarily try and bring in the most people we can. We try and take care of the people that we have when they're there, treat them like family, and make sure that they're invested. I think Coach Pete used to have a terminology, OKGs, right? Our kind of guys. And that's what Doc has recruited in his time at Boise State. It's people that are coming to Boise State because they want to be at Boise State, not because, they're going to get a scholarship, not because they're going to win, X amount of trophies or they're going to get rings or whatever. Like they're there because Boise State's culture. And that's the key. And so recruiting those kind of people, being intentional with how we take a look at the program, it has allowed us to focus on retention instead of enrollment, and it's created a really cool culture.
Yeah, and I've talked to Doc several times about that. He always says, as cool as it is to bring in a previous Madden champion or whatever it is, he wants to bring in the best people, not just the best gamers, but the best people. So with that being said, I also know that our Cody Krebs has taken a lot from Doc's playbook, because so much of what you guys have done over the past 8 years has been do-it-yourself projects in a way. Of course, you've had so much support and help from your administrations, but there's been so much that just Doc and his team has physically put together yourselves. And we've taken a lot from that playbook. So, it's going well for us right now, but of course, we're always looking for new ideas, new ways to get better and whatnot. What kind of advice would you give to even us or other districts who want to do something like this, who want to have the next biggest program in esports?
I think the first thing that people have to remember when they're starting this thing, and even beyond, you guys are such a shining light of what's possible when you have people that do this, right? An administrator doesn't have to know everything about esports. I think so many schools and so many high schools that I've worked with in the past, at different places that I've been at, in the Midwest, you guys talked about how the Midwest is kind of just hyper focused on this. So many schools think I have to have someone that knows everything. I see teachers that are so afraid that they can't start a program because they don't know about the games and stuff. That doesn't matter. None of that matters. If you have a passion for serving students and you have a passion for seeing your students grow and become something incredible, and you say, this is what I want to do, that's all you need. The students, they need backing and they need support. And if you give them that, man, you don't even know what they can become if you just say, we're gonna support you. So I think the first thing is just to take the first step. Don't be afraid to say, we're just gonna do it and we're just gonna see what happens. You're right. DIY has been so much of the program. You guys talk about taking from the playbook. We have the same seats in our arena from the real theater. It's incredible how you just make it happen. You don't think about, is there the money that's going to be there for it? Because there's always solutions to working around the money, right? There's always a way to figure out, we're going to do it. We're going to bring in folding chairs from home and we're going to borrow them from grandma and grandpa down the street, right? And that's how people are going to watch it. Those kind of things, they work themselves out when you just put the time and the energy in.
Yeah. And one thing also I wanted to mention, kind of on that note, what you had said, I remember asking Doc one time, 8 years ago, could you ever see yourself as a coach of a Division I collegiate sports program, and number two, of the eSports program? And his answer was no, not at all. So what advice would you give to anybody, any teacher or educator who maybe has heard of it, knows a little bit about it, and maybe has a little bit of that IT knowledge or whatever it might be, where you can get something started to say, don't even worry if you don't know the lingo, you don't know the games. This is all a learned process. If you know how to be a leader, you could do this.
Yeah, 100%. I think that the mentality that you have to have, and educators talk about this all the time too, right? We learn as much from students as students learn from us, right? Go into it with a servant's mindset and a learner's mindset, that when you have that first meeting in your classroom, that is inevitably going to happen, where you put up a flyer and you say, hey, we're thinking about starting an esports club, we're going to do an interest meeting, and 3 people show up and you're like, oh man, there's just nobody here, and you're discouraged, and you say, I don't know anything about this, I'm going to be honest with you, but I see your passion, I see what you want to do, help me understand. If you come into it with that kind of a humble mindset, the students are going to teach you what you need to know to make this happen. And then when you go into the room with your superintendent or your principal and you say, yeah, we need 35 Ls from HP Omen and we need 240 hertz monitors, they're going to say, I don't know what that means, but if you say we need it, I mean, we'll figure it out. If you can kind of learn a little bit about it, it makes you sound pretty good.
Awesome. Gotcha.
Well, Riley, appreciate you coming on. We're hitting the end of our time slot here. One last thing I wanted to say, and you kind of summed it up there a little bit ago, was meeting the students where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
It's not where we're at as educators. It's not necessarily my comfort zone to do something, but if we can meet the kids where they're at, the things that are going to come out of it are phenomenal. And who knows what's going to come out of it? That's a cool thing. Is one kid, he might be really interested in Rocket League, but then he becomes a shoutcaster later, and it becomes a TV career. We got Channel 6 right here, as we like to call him, but former Channel 6, but whatever. But it's the who knows, the what could be that's really exciting. And with that, I want to thank, everybody that's been here. Riley, again, thanks for joining us. Matt, thank you for joining me again.
You're welcome.
As if you had a choice.
Great.
But, it's been a blast. It's been a fun, hour and 15, 20 minutes that we've been chatting. Matt, any last thoughts?
I want to thank everybody too. Riley, I met you at the Giving Games over at Boise State. Always just such a fun event. And
Yes,
what you
it
guys
is.
are doing over there is truly impressive. And, to have that friendship with Doc as well as you in the program, and also be doing the voiceovers for your show you got going on. That's a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, what you have enabled us to do with Above the Line, having someone that actually produces that high level content, it makes it pretty cool. That's for sure.
You guys are everything, and truly a shining example for what we've been able to do at the Nampa School District and the first spectator esports arena in the state. So thank you, Riley, for being here, and everyone else. And we're going to call it a podcast.
Awesome. Hey, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, Riley. Thanks so much.
Have a good one.